Grandfall pressure washers. We have a bunch of pressure washers right here. This one is the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro. That one is the top of the line, the best of the best. Then we got the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus, which is pretty darn good. Then we got the Grandfall Pressure Washer G20. This one, I think, is the best for most people. And we'll explain the differences right now. And I've been using these pressure washers for about a year now, so I can tell you the differences. So the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro, this one ultimately, you want the best of the best. This is the one to get. There's no question about it. So what's good about this is it has this top of the line hose. This one's a very flexible hose. It's a 100 feet hose. You can pull it out. It will retract in super easy. You have the updated motor. See how this is orange and this one doesn't have the orange? This orange cover right here indicates a better motor than this. So what's good about the better motor? Well, it's quieter. It has a little bit higher output than this one, and it has a longer lifespan than this one. So you plan to use your pressure washer very often and want to have it for a very long time, then this is the one to get. It's a little bit quieter, more power, and it has the better motor. This is the one step down from it. So this is the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro. This is the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus. It still has the same awesome hose, which is very flexible. And let me actually show you how this hose works, right? So it's a 100 feet hose. Right now it's out. So if I want to pull it back in, I can give it a quick tug like that, and it comes back in like that. And then if I want to pull it out, of course, when you wall mount this, it's more secure, but it locks in place like that. Super easy to use. I love these because even though these hoses are rated to last, in case they break down, you can replace the hose. So these hoses are replaceable on these two units. Whereas with the G20, the hose is not replaceable. So as you guys are seeing how these differ, right? So these two have the same hose, but the motor is the difference between these two. Then stepping down to this one, this is a G20. So this one has one huge advantage over these two, and that is the mounting bracket. This one can actually pivot. Once you install on a bracket, you can pivot this one any way you want, like this, like this, like this, and that will help you be able to retract out the hose in different locations. Like if you want to pull it out that way or that way, it's a little bit easier, and it also retracts in like that. So the nice thing is this one has the updated hose too, so it's a pretty good hose, but not quite as flexible in my opinion as this one, and definitely not the same tolerances. The G20 has, again, a little bit less performance than the G30A, also known as the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus. So as you step down the line, the pressure output is a little bit lower, top of the line, medium, and a little bit lower pressure. Noise-wise, the same thing. The Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro is a quieter one than the G30A, also known as the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus, a little bit louder, and then the G20 is also a little bit louder. But if I'm being as transparent as possible, you don't notice a sound difference between these. It's a very subtle difference, and once you have a pressure washer, it's gonna make noise. So if you're gonna compare the noise level between this, and that, it's almost minor. In terms of lifespan, that one's gonna have the best lifespan, and then this one, and then this one, right? So this is more for, household use. This is more for like still household use, but a little more robust. And if you plan on having like a small operation where you're washing a lot of cars or doing a lot of pressure washing, then you wanna go for the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro. In terms of mounting, they are a little bit different in terms of mounting, but let me just go and explain how they're similar in that they're all very easy to use because they're all in one unit, right? So let's start with this one right here. So the way you use this is that this one connects to power, right? So you connect it to power. What kind of power? Super easy. You just connect it to your outlet with 110 outlet. That's it, right? Same thing with this unit right here. The G20 connects to the outlet. And the same thing with the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro. You just have a 2-prong plug connected to an outlet. That's how it gets power. On-off switch is right here for the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus. On-off switch is right here for the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro. And then for this unit, the on-off switch is actually right in front over here. The water. So the water inlet on the Grandfall Pressure Wash Plus is on the side right here. This is where the water comes in. And then this is the liter hose that comes included. And then you connect it to your garden hose. Just like the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro right here. Same deal, right? That's the water inlet. And then the Grandfall Pressure Washer G20, the inlet is actually unique. You can't even use this one when it's on the ground. You have to mount it because the inlet for this one is actually down here. So here is the water inlet for this one. So they all should be mounted, but this one I can't even demonstrate unless I mount it because otherwise the hose will get crushed. So all of them are all-in-one unit that just need 110/120 power and connect to the garden hose. The way that they mount to the wall is a little bit different. The Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro and the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus mount exactly the same way. And they use this bracket. So the way this bracket works is you mount it to your wall. Whether you have a concrete wall or you have studs, if you have studs, I recommend attaching it to a board like I did here. That way I can find my studs, attach the board to studs, then attach this bracket to the board. If you have concrete wall or you have a place where you can attach 4 bolts directly onto it, I do recommend that. You have 4 bolts that attaches this bracket to your wall. However you do that, it's up to you. I use a wood board for my setup. You might have concrete and that might be easier, but however you want to mount it, it just takes 4 bolts. Once you have the 4 bolts, you can easily attach the pressure washer to this by sliding it on. So how does the sliding mechanism work? Well, let me show you. So this is the pressure washer. So if you look back here, when you have this attached to the wall, this will slide up like this, and that's it. So you can easily dismount this for winter and take it down as easy as that. There's no bolts that hold this to this. It's just, this thing is just gonna just sit on it like this. So that's how easy it is to attach it to the wall. So both the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus and the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro mount with the exact same bracket. In fact, I can switch the two whenever I want. That's how I'm able to test these things. I swap it over and swap this over. Now the G20 is a different type of bracket altogether because obviously the bracket swivels, right? And this one has 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's obviously a different type of bolt pattern. So you can't switch between the two, but this one does have the nice benefit of being able to swivel, which I think a lot of people might prefer over these two units because although both the units have the ability to pull the hose out on the sideways, like you can actually pull the hose out this way like this, you can pull it out this way, you can see there's a little bit more resistance when you pull out the hose, right? Whereas with this unit, the G20, you can see there's rollers on the side. So when you pull it out, it actually helps the hose, right? Whether you pull it down, whether you pull it up, it has these rollers that help the hose. Not only that, but once you pivot this thing, right? So you can pivot it this way, pivot this way, pivot this way. Because of the bracket, it allows you to pivot, and that is a game changer. So there's a little pivoter here that I put to the side right now, but it basically pivots and you can lock into these different positions, and that's how you pivot this and rotate it. That's a very nice feature. Now all of them actually have basically the same hardware. It comes with the sprayer and it comes with the different nozzles and it comes with the foam cannon. They all come with the same things, right? So the way that this works is you have your sprayer here, you have a lockout to prevent using it, and when you spray it, you notice the pressure washer will turn on when you're using it, but when you stop spraying, it will stop. That way you prevent noise when you don't need it. All of them work the same way. The Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro, the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus, and the G20 Grandfall Pressure Washer all work the same way. Now one thing that's slightly different is that there's a little bit of a lag time. When you stop spraying with the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus, right here, if I stop spraying, it's running for a little bit longer than this one. I think it's because of the hose length. Oh, that's another thing that's different. This is a 100 feet hose. That's a 100 feet hose. This is 65 feet hose. So if you need the longer hose, these two will give you the longer hose. But in terms of the sprayer, they're all exactly the same sprayer, and they all come with the same foam cannon sprayer, which is actually pretty good, although the size of the foam cannon sprayer is a little bit small. And there's a place to store this on all the units. So for the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus and the Pro, you have a space right here on the side to store your soap and foam cannon sprayer. And then on this side, you have a place to store your wand. See right here, once this is installed and there's enough length, you install this wand, and this part right here locks in over there, and your wand is installed here. So that's how you store it. So that's how you store it for both the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus and the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro. For the G20, the way you store it is similar. For this one, there's a little attachment that you attach on the side. So for the G20, there is this attachment right here, and this one will attach to the side, and that's where you put your sprayer right here. Boom, just like that. And that's how you store that. And for the soap dispenser, you should be able to store it right here. These two store it the same way back here, and they both have a place to store the sprayer right here. And the bracket, since we're here, I'll just show you how the bracket works. So see this unit? It has this bracket, and on top here, that's where you attach this through here, and then from here, you're able to lift this little spring thing right here that clips onto different holes so that you can really rotate the angle. So that rotation of the angle makes it very easy to use this one. And for practical purposes, most people will probably like the G20 the best because, like I said, the rollers help you find the right angle so that you can pull out really easy. And then also, you can pivot this thing. So there's like two huge advantages, right? This one is more ideal to pull out straight. Whereas with the G20, you can pull more at an angle and it's fine. Not only that, you can actually pivot this thing to a different angle, and that's even better, right? So a lot of things lead down to the G20 being the most practical for most people. If you need a little bit more power or the 100 feet hose, then go for the G30A, or also known as the Grandfall Pressure Washer Plus Plus, which has a 100 feet hose, better hose, a little bit more power on the motor, and a little bit quieter. But it doesn't have the pivot of this, right? Now, if you want the ultimate one, the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro has a quieter motor, better lifespan on the motor, and also it has the nicer hose of this one, 100 feet hose. So that one is like the best of the best, but it still doesn't have the pivotability of this, right? So if you really need to be able to pull your hose out at different angles and also to pivot this thing, then the G20 kind of wins for that purpose. But if you want a pressure washer that you're going to use very often and use it a lot, and you want it to be a little bit more quieter, then the Grandfall Pressure Washer Pro is my favorite one. And then this one is like kind of in between. So you can see how they're different in the ways you mount them, the way you actually use them in terms of pulling out the cable, the length of the cable. So all in all, they all do the fantastic job of getting the job done, which is being able to use the pressure washer. Let's talk about this pressure washer really quick because they all have the same sprayer. So you'll see there's 4 different spray nozzles right here at the top. So they store away nicely. So when you just fire off like this is just normal, right? And then you have the different nozzles. So let me go ahead and show you this green nozzle. So each of them actually have a little number on them. And this one right here will say a number of 25 degrees. So this one will spread out at 25 degrees. So you can see right here, when I spray it, it's a 25 degree spread, and it's pretty strong pressure, but it's a little spread out. So you can see this one will give you a good spread, but decent power. Then over here, this orange one, you can see the angle for this one is going to be 15 degrees. So what this one will give you is a more narrower spread and more power. See, it's a more narrow beam, but you have a little bit more power on this one. And then the red one is going to be like the most powerful, so I'm going to take this out right here and show you the red one. And the red one is going to be your 0 degree. So 0 degree is going to give you like the most powerful spray, right? See how sharp it is? So if you want something stubborn, this is what you use for that. And then the softest one is actually the white one. The white one is going to be like the 40 degrees. So this is the general purpose one, especially if you want to wash your car, you want to protect that paint. It spreads out nicely. So good pressure, but a nice even spread so you can work the pressure washer a little bit better. And of course, you have the foam sprayer. So let me go ahead and show you the foam sprayer. So we have our foam sprayer over here, and this one attaches on super easy. But before we attach it, there's 2 adjustments right here. This is the concentration. So this controls the amount of soap and the amount of water, and this over here controls the spread. You see how when you close this down, it will spread the soap more or less. and this connects on with all these quick connects, super easy. And all this is included, by the way, in all 3 of the pressure washers, the Grand Fall Pressure Washer Pro, Grand Fall Pressure Washer Plus Plus, and even the G20 Grand Fall Pressure Washer. They all have the same setup. So this is the foam can. You see how there's soap spray, and you control the nozzle right there. Very smooth. Look at that foam, by the way. It's just beautiful, very thick foam. And then that's how you, look how thick that is. I'm just blown away how easy it is to spray with this and wash your car and truck. So again, they all do the same purpose, right? To be able to wash your car, wash your truck very easily by spraying on and foam, spraying the soap onto your car, and then using a pressure washer, different nozzles to then rinse the car or pressure wash your driveway, pressure wash your gate, pressure washer, anything you need. But there we go. That's my experience using a Grand Fall Pressure Washer Pro, Grand Fall Pressure Washer Plus Plus, and the Grand Fall Pressure Washer G20. My recommendation is if you are using it not too extreme and you're probably using it once a week, once every 2 weeks just to wash your car, you're gonna really love the G20 because it's all around balance. It has basically all the features of the other ones, except it even has a swivel. It doesn't have the longer hose, and the motor's a little bit louder, a little bit less pressure than these two in terms of pressure output, but you're not gonna really notice the pressure output that much, and you're not gonna notice the volume of the motor. The lifespan is gonna be a little bit shorter than this, and then this is gonna be a little bit shorter than that, but again, it's gonna be all around the best for most people because of the pivotability. If you need the longer hose, you gotta get one of these. And if you're gonna get one of these and you want the best of the best, then get that. If you want the longer hose and you're okay with something that has a little bit louder motor than that, then this is probably the better choice for people that just need a longer hose. But if you need a longer hose and you're gonna use it for a lot of work and you're gonna have a lot of run time on the motor, then that one will have a better lifespan on the motor, plus it's gonna be a little bit quieter, plus it's gonna be a little bit more pressure. So pressure-wise, that one has a little bit more pressure, a little bit less pressure, and a little bit less pressure. Noise-wise, loudest, a little bit less loud and a little bit quieter on that one. Hose length, that one has 100 feet, and 65. Mountability, both of these mount to the wall with 4 bolts. This one mounts to the wall again with 4 bolts, but the bracket is pivotable. And they all have a place to store the sprayer and I believe the soap bottle. Yeah, it comes to think of it, the soap bottle should just put right here. The foam cannon sprayer, and they all have a place to store the sprayer. They all connect to 110 outlet. They all use a standard 2-prong connection to your outlet. They all connect to your garden hose, super easy. I mean, these are all in one unit that mounts to the wall. Power and water from your garden hose, and you have a pressure washer. So there we go. That is the comparison between these 3 pressure washer. Pick the one that works best for you, but these things are awesome. Oh yeah.